It's time for VidPal TubeChop, everyone's favorite podcast for your YouTube tips.
Yeah, it's a tube chop for this episode because we are missing Tim Schmoyer today. So we decided to do a two-man YouTube channel review. Tube Chop, it's like a slap chop for your YouTube channel. We're going to take one of our subscribers' channels. We're going to open it up, and we're going to, was it Bill O'Reilly? I'm getting the name wrong. We're going to do it live. Bill O'Reilly, Papa Bear Bill.
All right. I'm just going to pull up the channel real quick and we're going to get started. So, today we're going to be reviewing one of our listeners' channels. He has a channel about movie reviews. Review. It's not redundant or anything. And I'm going to share my screen real quick. Whoa.
There we go.
Is it good? Does it look good? All right.
We can always edit it in case you just have
we definitely
bank passwords open.
Definitely need to edit that. All right. So we're going to get into the channel here, and I don't think we're going to get very far before we start saying stuff. So first off, I want to pre-apologize to our awesome listener here. We are going to chop you down, but I promise we'll build you back up too. Matt, what do you want to start with here?
Well, let's see, because you're logged in as a actual subscriber, so it looks like you're seeing the what to watch next video there. So I'm going to open up my view of the channel as at least for purposes of this chop down. I'm not a subscriber yet, so the thing I like to focus on is what video are you featuring on your channel. So I can always take a screenshot of this to send to you. But it looks like he's featuring a video called One Crazy Story. It's a horror comedy short film.
Hey, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Can we start over?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll just tell everyone that we're starting over. So what I'll do is I'll have these two tabs open. And it's just really, it's pretty bad, so.
What's pretty bad? The video?
Well, no. So just everything we've done so far. Basically all of it. So we're not going to stop the thing. We'll just start over. So
oh, yeah. That is no
unshare
problem.
for just a second. All right. Stop sharing. Yeah. And I have the view now that's not logged in. So then I can jump quickly to the logged in view.
Yeah, I think I can have a couple punchier things to say up top once we get to the channel. It's like the first thing I can talk about is the banner.
Yeah.
The channel banner, and then maybe if you want to take the subscribe trailer.
Sounds good.
And then we'll just kind of move our way into the about tab and things like that.
Sorry, I have like 50,000 Photoshop windows open for some odd reason. Okay. If I stop the broadcast, we have to completely start over, right?
Yeah, I think it changes the link.
All right. Hey, editors, we're going to stop. Clap. Stop. All right. We're going to start over. It's time for VidPal TubeChop. Oh, man. What are we doing today, Matt?
Well, today we are without Tim Schmoyer, so it's just me and you, Jeremy. And for this week's episode, we decided to take a look at one of the YouTube channels of our listeners and podcast subscribers, and just do sort of an off-the-cuff channel review and see if we can't give some insights and some help to our listeners in our Tube Chop.
Awesome. Well, we're going to jump right into it. And I want to pre-apologize to Chase here. Chase, we love you. We appreciate you listening. We are going to chop you down, but I promise we're going to build you right back up.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get started. So, Matt, what's the first thing you see when you go to his channel?
I would say the first thing my eye is drawn to is that header image or channel artwork at the top. When you think about what people are doing when they're visiting your channel, 9 times out of 10, they're going there to make a subscription decision. So they're there to see if it's worth subscribing or if you have enough content to make it worthwhile. So I would say having probably a more focused call to action as part of that banner, and maybe spruce it up a bit. Head out to maybe someplace like a Fiverr if you really want to keep it on the cheap, or something like a 99 Designs, and see if you can't get something a bit more eye-catching that has a very concise kind of tagline as to why, what you do, why should people subscribe.
And compared to the views Chase has here, the subscribers are fairly low. So even though he does call to action subscribe in the banner, I just don't think it really visually does. Like, I don't think people are going to read that. Another
Mm-hmm.
thing I would say is I would actually, even though he has an extremely funny photo of himself, it says something like "real me in a movie podcast" or something goofy, but it's funny. But I would rather see the logo there for brand recognition. So a lot of these, there's a lot of movie review podcasts and YouTube channels and Facebook stuff. I think you need to stand out. So I think you do need a recognizable brand in that little area where his photo is now. Another thing I will say is when he gets to the channel trailer, I personally still a big believer that you need to give someone a reason to subscribe here. What do you think about that, Matt?
Yeah, I think that's a really great opportunity right away, because it just seems that the featured video isn't really pushing you towards this learning more or pushing you towards a subscription. And it doesn't even really seem to be supporting necessarily the main goals of the channel. So it looks like it's either to subscribe to the channel itself or subscribe to one of the podcasts, because it looks like there's a couple playlists for a podcast. And so having something that describes your podcast and what else you offer on your channel and put a nice little subscribe button in that, you can turn this into a much higher converting subscription page.
And one thing I do want to point out, on the right hand side, he has related channels, which is actually a really good thing to do. Believe it or not, I was actually told by someone that works at YouTube one time that the more of these you have, the more YouTube's actually going to be using that data to kind of correlate what your channel's about. So I think there's a threshold of you have to have enough subscribers and views and things for that to kind of really take effect. But that is something to think about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you can really organize these into different categories, because I believe you can have more than just one related channel area. So there could be another fun way to add some additional ones to the mix.
Very cool. All right, we're going to get into, these are called sections, right? Is that what they're called?
Yes, I think officially sections. I've been known to call them shelves.
I like it. You always have the words.
Can I get that as a testimonial on my
Exactly.
website?
A very intellectual testimonial. All right, Matt. So what's the purpose of these shelves or sections here, and what could we be doing better here?
Yeah, I think they're to have some of your most important category, or even like a welcome playlist at the very top, is a great way, like where to start, and label it something like that. Because this is, again, people are making that decision as to whether or not they're going to subscribe and seeing what you have to offer. So you really want to put your best foot forward with your content here. So create like a welcome playlist for that top section, or have your podcast or your most popular series right underneath that. So you can really facilitate video discovery this way, and if you do it well, you also increase your subscription conversion rate.
Right, and to kind of de-nerd some of that language there is, did you guys know that, at least for me, Matt, 1 to 3% of our views come from to the channel page. So that means 97+% of our views never even touch the channel page. Is that similar to, is that what you find in your channels?
Yeah, I find that at least when working with brands, there tends to be a kind of an over obsession on the channel when you first start out, where the focus should be really on your most important pieces of video content, and build your channel around the videos. Don't build and obsess over the channel first, but just kind of make sure you have some of the basics checked off, and then focus more of your energy and time on your content strategy.
Exactly. So if 97% of the people aren't even going to see this, why do it? Well, it's best practice. And you it's those onesie and twosie type things do add up if you do 100 of them, right? So I still think
Yeah.
it's important to optimize. I just think you shouldn't obsess, like Matt said. And the thing I would take away here is, instead of uploads and popular uploads in the first two shelves, I would actually move movie reviews and then reasons. Give basically, even if you had a playlist that said reasons to subscribe to my channel and you had 3 or 4 great videos there. You really are kind of people are shopping around to see if you're worth their time. And I think this shelving section area is a very, very good way to lose or gain subscribers.
Yeah, absolutely. So even just having some for other channels too, an idea of how you want to actually categorize your content. Like, what are your big series or ways you can organize your content? It's another good way to think of kind of show ideas, or just think about the experience a new visitor would have.
One thing I'd like to add to the banner here is, if you had a Twitter account or other types of social media, you definitely want to add them here, because this is a good place to have them. And then I wanted to get down into the about section. I think, and hopefully agree with me, Matt, that this is one of the most underutilized sections of a channel.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And the reason I say that is, most people don't realize how much weight this little section has on your discoverability optimization. So in your description, it does say that you do short story reviews and commercials, but you don't really get the main keywords, like movie reviews, film reviews. There's a lot of very rich keywords that people are searching for on YouTube every single day that you've missed out here. So believe it or not, YouTube is listening to this channel, and they're trying to get as much information as they can to know how to index you properly. So, and another thing is, you do have links to your Facebook, Google Plus, and Twitter profile here. But if you had a website, I would definitely add that here as well. Anything to add to that, Matt?
Yeah, no, I think I would just add more to this and have sort of a tighter, a more specific description of what the channel, like the kind of content you can expect. Because this channel description, a slice of it, and I don't know the exact character counts, but it will appear in what's called your channel's hover card. So if you comment on other videos or someone hovers over your channel logo, this card pops up with your channel artwork and a snippet of your description. So making that a very specific kind of call to action and a very concise description of what people can expect to see from you, that can be just helpful all the way around, from being indexed by Google and then actually getting action from people that read it.
That's a great point. And another way I like to think of this is, for those of you with websites, what shows up on your google.com results. So if someone types in your name and you see the meta description, the words underneath the description of your google.com search engine result page, that's kind of your calling card. You should have keywords about what you do, and you should give someone a reason to click. So the same thing here. You should definitely have like a call to action, like, this is why you should subscribe, basically. And another thing I wanted to talk about here is, one of the biggest things people don't actually seem to know about are something called channel keywords. So channel keywords are one of the very most important parts of your discoverability optimization on YouTube. And in my opinion, people usually don't even very experienced and very savvy YouTubers don't really kind of grasp how to work with channel keywords. My suggestion would be only use the top 5 or 10 words that you're trying to rank for overall. And we've talked about this recently. Matt called it the China doll effect or something, where I have a hierarchy of how I like to help my clients rank. For example, if we're talking about a razor blade company, we would have how to shave and beard styles, and you have categories way bigger than what your video's about, but it's part of the video. So it would almost be like a playlist. And you really need to think bigger than what just your video's about. You need to think about what the category that you're serving is. Also, I would not have a YouTube channel too broad, because how are people going to find you? And even if you're a YouTuber or a brand, I still believe that discoverability optimization is an extremely important part of this whole how do I build a mass audience.
Yeah, I think it's just a great thing to point out, and it's so easily overlooked by, like you said, large and small channels alike. So I would spend some time and make sure your most important keywords are here, and then you're going to want to just make sure you have content that also supports those same keywords. Because without that push of video that's also relevant, then you're not going to really take advantage of those keywords if your content isn't in alignment.
Awesome. And then a few small side note things is definitely make sure that your AdWords account is linked to the back end of YouTube. Make sure that your website is associated. There's a lot of reasons for this beyond just being able to link to your URL.
Yeah, I'm surprised even when I work with brands that they haven't set up this associated website. And it's really the main reason why they're not seeing the kind of clicks from their videos to their landing pages. So it's so important to just get it done.
Absolutely. And these are kind of the back end stuff that us nerds are really intimate with. But honestly, YouTube interface is kind of goofy. It's hard to even know about this stuff. So that's why we're doing this audit. So hopefully you guys can start seeing how we see. And that's really the most important part. Okay, we're going to get into just a video here. I want to find something that's not just a week old. Let's see.
Yeah, and right off the bat, it looks like a pretty consistent upload schedule.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're seeing something every week, if not multiple things in a week. So yeah, it might be worth kind of looking at your release scheduling, and maybe playing around with, should you be releasing the same amount of videos each week, or should you maybe scale it back or up?
Yeah, and release schedule is very important. I mean, even if you're a brand, I would try to release at least 1 to 2 videos a week. Would you agree with that, Matt?
Yeah, I think because you don't want to exhaust someone's channel feed when they log in or visit YouTube. So sometimes that can be sort of what they call feed fatigue. If people see it too
Yeah.
much, then they might just unsubscribe because they feel like they're being bombarded.
So we're on the channel page now, and I want to mention 2 things before we get started. I use 2 different plugins to give me data. um, and one is called vidiq.com/vision, and I use the pro version. It's not very expensive. It's pretty awesome. And the other one is called TubeBuddy, and TubeBuddy, they're both Chrome plugins, and they're both absolutely amazing. So I would recommend being able to see this type of data on the right hand side when you're looking at YouTube videos, so you can kind of understand how people are, what they're doing, what tags they're using, how it's performing, how many Facebook likes, shares, and tweets, and Google pluses it's had. It's just a nice kind of crystal ball view of what's going on with the video. And the more you understand how people are optimizing videos when they're not doing well, when they're doing super well, I think the more you're going to get in tune to understanding how success happens on YouTube. The first thing I want to look at is the tag itself. I'm guessing Divine Access is the name of the movie.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. So that's good that it's in the
Yeah.
tags.
And it's also really important to notice that the name of the movie Divine Access is to the farthest left. Believe it or not, that does matter if you have if you have 5 million views, it doesn't matter if it's at the end, beginning, middle. But if it's a smaller video, the where you place the main tags is actually extremely important, and we've done a lot of tests to prove that. Let's see, real reviews. So one thing that I am confused about with this channel overall is I don't know what the name of the show is. Is it real reviews? Is that just a keyword? If that was a keyword, why didn't you do movie reviews? Because it gets more clicks. So that's just a question I have for the for Chase.
Yeah, I believe that's just the name of the podcast.
Okay, cool.
So maybe even just saying Divine X movie review, and then at the end maybe having a real reviews podcast episode, and then put a number. And then if you number more of your, if you keep that naming convention for all your podcast episodes, then you'll start to see more of your podcast episodes appearing on the related video side, or showing on what to watch next. So I would spend some time and sort of recategorize those to make sure they're really tightly linked together.
And yeah, just to reiterate that, one of the quickest wins I ever had many, many years ago as a YouTube guy
Love a quick
was
win.
to realize that if you do like episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the ability for you to rank on the right hand side and under suggested videos goes up insanely, because YouTube actually wants to serve content that has order. So it's very important to have your titles very similar, and your tags very similar, and there's a lot of kind of tricks to it. But if you have a series of 10 videos, make sure you put the series number in there, and your ability to rank those videos even in order becomes a lot greater. Very good point. I just want to reiterate it. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is the actual description itself. And there's a lot of problems I see here. The first is, you notice before the show more button, you have 5 lines of text. My suggestion is in the first 4 lines, you actually give someone a reason to watch the video. Believe it or not, even though YouTube is a very visual medium, there are a lot of people that prefer reading over video. So believe it or not, there are a lot of people that are going to read your description before they decide to click. And what I would do is in the first 2 to 4 lines is give someone an actual reason to click, and then in the 4th to 5th line, actually give them a URL to click on to go to your hub, to your website. And taking, obviously it's relative to your strategy and situation. If you're a big YouTuber, maybe you want people to stay to keep on monetizing your content. But if you're a brand or a person, I would always advise trying to get people back into your world and giving you an email address or subscribing in your website, your world.
Yeah, absolutely. I just like to tell clients too, for those first so many characters of your description, make sure that there's a link that supports that video's call to action, whatever it might be. So put your most important link there, and then you can put supporting links and other things below that people that have shown interest will be able to find. But I would say a real easy, quick win for this channel would be to add a subscribe link. So just take whatever the subscribe URL is that you would click on from an annotation, and put that into a short link, and you can add it to your description that just says "click here to become a subscriber." Boom, and it's just a really easy way to start getting people to actually visit your channel.
Yeah, I always put the subscribe link in the description. Believe it or not, a lot of people do click on it.
Oh
And
yeah,
also it's free real estate, So another thing to add we didn't really talk about is the value of SEO here. So, again, YouTube is trying to figure out what your video is about so it can index and archive it properly. You really do. I a lot of the time, I will put, up to a paragraph or 2 of the actual transcripts of the video here, because it is what the video is about. and it does give a better kind of keyword sensibility to what you're talking about. And what I mean by that is it tells YouTube and Google what the video is about. You don't have to use every word, but just maybe a big chunk of it, or a small chunk of it. Then we put the subscribe links. Then we put your top 2 or 3 social links like Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. And then always a link back to your actual website. So that's kind of my template that we use here at VidPal. Do you have much difference to that, Matt?
No, no, it kind of follows that same flow for the description, and it really can be tailored to your industry or what your end goals are. So if it's like audience development, then having all your social links be prioritized in that show more section, that's great. But for some brands, they might have some of their what I would call like pinnacle pages or some of your best landing pages. Incorporate those into your description if they're more valuable than someone following you on Twitter. So you can look at what are your primary and secondary calls to action or supporting links. And I think you can have a lot of fun playing around and finding that right mix for your brand.
Awesome. And then the next major part is the tags. So one thing I'm going to say is you Chase used some tags that I don't really like the concept behind. Hangouts on air, and HOA. Well, first off, HOA is Homeowners Association. It could be Hangouts on air, but you see the problem there is you could potentially be serving your video to the wrong people, and a dog cannot be a cat. So when in doubt, don't do it on YouTube, because the number one ranking algorithm is still today basically how long someone watches your video in some form or fashion. So if this video accidentally starts ranking for words, and it's really not that big of a deal unless you have a bigger channel, but it's very easy to start ranking for goofy words you didn't intend to rank for. And what happens when that happens is you click on a dog video and you see a cat and you click off of it. That's the easiest way to kill your whole channel, not just your videos, because the more YouTube and Google, the big second and first biggest search engine in the world's job is to be the most relevant content served, period. So that if you think like Google has to think and YouTube has to think, I have to create or I have to serve the videos people want to see, then you really need to kind of rethink the strategies there. Also, yes, you have an Hangout on air, but it isn't general enough. It's about movies, so it's not general enough to really use that tag. You have anything to add to that, Matt?
Yeah, I always like to look at would someone searching for that tag, if they found your video, would it be what they're looking for? Would it fill that need? And so sometimes I think of certain keywords that they might be. I'll put a couple broad ones in there, but I try not to get like too broad because I know I'm never going to really rank for that particular tag. So I'm just going to leave it out unless it's very top level like movie reviews. It may be kind of a pie in the sky to rank in the top 10 for movie reviews because that's a really crowded and competitive space, but you'll want it in your tags because it is so tightly related. But don't go too crazy like talking or something like that, because it's just not if someone is searching talking on YouTube, then who knows what they're looking for.
I would say, make sure that you don't think you're just going to win the lottery for no reason. If your site's about movie reviews, I'd have movie reviews as the number one tag in your channel tags. And then I would have movie reviews in all of your videos you have movie review, but you don't have movie reviews with an S. So you need to understand what people are searching for the most. Also, the order of tags is extremely important. So the thing the video is most of should be the very first tag from the upper left-hand side. And then it should be less important as it goes down. So remember to add your most important tags first. And like the Russian doll thing we were talking about earlier, make sure you nest these concepts to most importance. So movie reviews, You know, this seems to be a geographical film festival. So I would actually use the word Dallas. I would probably use the word Texas. I might even use the word film festival because in your titles and tags, because film festival is what this is about. So this is a lot more about Dallas, Texas, and film festivals than it is about Hangouts on Air. You agree with that, Matt?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if this was a podcast, there may be, because it's a longer video that has, it's about a lot of different things. So that could be perhaps problematic when doing podcasts on YouTube, because you can be covering so many topics. It's usually better to have topics sort of tailored to specific videos. But I would say one of the opportunities here I see is that they're not really leaning into Divine Access as a movie name when it comes to the tagging. So they're kind of missing some opportunities on just things like Divine Access review, Divine Access movie review, because the people searching about that particular movie, and if it's any good, um, those are all the kind of keywords that they're going to use on YouTube to find and connect with a review that they can trust. So leaning into those searches will, I think, will help get the video a bit more exposure and hopefully engagement too.
Awesome. Well, the last thing I really want to talk about is playlists. And, you know, there is a lot of misconception to playlists that I want to talk about. And Matt, I want your opinion. I don't actually know how you feel about this. Through all the years of research I've done, I've found that if you don't have exact phrase playlists, meaning, you know, the exact words people are typing in, how to bake a cake, if you have how to bake a cake company's name, you're not going to rank. If you have exactly what people are typing in, how to bake a cake, and then you have, you know, or cake recipes, and you have 13 videos in your cake recipes playlist, and the titles and tags within those videos themselves have cake recipes in them, then it seems that the ability for your videos to be on the right hand side suggested, and the ability for your playlist itself to rank becomes higher. So I wanted to get your opinion on exact phrase playlists.
Yeah, I think it just it helps so much with getting that playlist to potentially rank for that search term, and that's always going to be the a big win for your channel if you can rank with a playlist of multiple videos instead of just with one. So that's why when I reviewed the Tonight Show's channel, they had they pretty much own the keyword hashtag on YouTube. So if you type in hashtag, they not only rank with all the video spots in the top 5, but they rank with a playlist with 75 videos. So
Yep.
they pretty much rank on the first 5 results. They have like 78 videos.
Wow. You know, playlists are a very, very big part of the success I've had and the 300 million views we've got for our customers. It should not be underrated. You know,
Hmm.
it's not gonna, you're not gonna win the lottery with it, but all these little things you do come up with something that's pretty major. Another thing we didn't talk about or touch on very much are thumbnails. Thumbnails are really important. What I like to do is put a kind of brand or logo and watermark on the left hand side so that when you're looking on the suggested videos on the right hand side, you can actually see kind of a symmetrical view where it's repetitive and you can keep on seeing your official brand. So it helps a lot. What do you think about custom thumbnails?
Yeah, I think it just helps with that brand recognition, because if you were to look at these top thumbnails, not including the one that's in the save to playlist area, but if you were just to look at these on blank canvas, you wouldn't really know that all of them are from the same channel just by looking at them. So if I saw any of these videos in the related section, I wouldn't know if that was from the same uploader or if it was, if I'm going to be going off down a rabbit hole in someone else's content. So having some sort of a consistent theme and look and feel to your thumbnails will help with that brand recognition.
All right. Well, that was our TubeChop. I hope you guys like that. Let us know if you want to keep on seeing that type of content. Please email us at tubetalk@vidpal.com. let us know how we can serve you on this podcast. We're definitely growing and we want to engage with our listeners. And this show really is for you. Even though Matt loves to hear himself talk, it is really for you.
I just listen to TubeTalk over and over again while I sleep.
It's the only thing that puts you to sleep, huh? Oh,
No,
that's not good. That's not good.
I'm soaking in. I'm marinating in the strategies so I can wake up and apply them.
Well, I am Jeremy Vest from vidpal.com. And Matt, where can people find you?
People can find me at vidseo.com. That's vidiseo.com. Come on by, become a subscriber. I promise not to annoy you via email.
And Matt, what do you do for a living?
I am a YouTube marketing consultant. So I work with brands mostly to either report on and audit their YouTube channel and their marketing strategy, or actually work with brands or other channels to sort of come on in as a YouTube expert for hire. So I have both a sort of auditing and then a consulting practice.
Awesome. Well, until next week, keep talking to.